Well, I met Dr. Post in 1975 when I showed up here as an intern. And at that time, John was one of the senior internal medicine residents.
Well, I was on the Phoenix City Council when the AIDS epidemic started. And when I was in the city, we started an AIDS task force to address this issue and try to help people get into services, try to help people get into hospice.
The Board of Supervisors was asked, what are you going to do about it? So, of course, we looked over to the Maricopa Medical Center, and Dr. John Post came forward and said, yes, we need to take the lead on this.
And that was the time I think that the light went on in Dr. Post's head that somebody needed to do this, and he jumped onto the bandwagon and started taking care of people.
And the McDowell Clinic opened up. Dr. Post was front and center. Our AIDS task force worked with him. The Ryan White monies came in, and we couldn't have done it without somebody as compassionate as Dr. Post.
Well, after I left here, I went into private practice right in the early 80s when HIV became a problem here in the Phoenix area, and came back here in 1994 to set up an inpatient HIV consultation service. And that was really the point I started working with John again. A lot of our care here in the hospital involved taking care of the patients from the McDowell Clinic.
So it was very, very hard. So it took a lot of courage, particularly for Dr. Post, who had colleagues who wouldn't deal with it, to stand up and say, no, if we're going to be true doctors and true deliverers of medical services, this is something we have to address.
John, saw it as a challenge and saw it as something that he could do that would make a huge difference. And you look at what we have now, it all started with John Post.
So Dr. Post was there for me at the beginning of my AIDS diagnosis and my treatment.
I've been a patient at McDowell for now, 17 years. And in most of that time, for 16 and a half of those, Dr. Post was the guy.
Never once was there any question in his mind. He provided me with confidence that I was going to recover and hope that I would recover. And at a time when it really wasn't a foregone conclusion that somebody in my medical condition would recover, he was there for me.
And through the patients of the clinic and under Dr. Post's leadership, with the addition, with the inclusion of behavioral health care and the inclusion of dental care, it's really, that's why I'm still here today, is because of that and because of that commitment that he made to treating the whole person.
To have somebody with his experience and his knowledge to be there for me as a patient, to make sure that I was on the right path of recovery and the right path of treatment, I just cannot even express how valuable and how meaningful that was to me. His legacy is one of incredible compassion for his patients, and I can honestly say that he genuinely cared about each and every patient that came through his exam room door.
But Dr. Post was the leader, really at the forefront of this whole state, and actually one of the key people in the United States to lead us toward treating people.
Probably some people do need the ego of being in the paper and being on TV and going out someplace and having people recognize them. And then there are people like Dr. Post, who's very modest, who clearly has made a huge, huge difference, but he's not any different. He's John Post.
I don't think that we can really measure his impact. He and Dr. Andy Meyers worked so closely together for so long with the Southwest Center in their community-based clinical trials program as investigators and co-investigators and all that you know, for dozens of medications that went through the clinical trials process and are now available to treat people with HIV worldwide. And so I don't really think that we know the full impact of what he's done.
Dr. Post, thank you. And I can tell you that your genuine compassion, your humility to serve others, and your absolute caring for each and every patient that I ever saw you treat is remarkable. I will be forever grateful to you.
It was just so inspiring to see you keep working. And when we opened the McDowell Clinic, I couldn't have been prouder of the county and of you and of all the people involved.
Dr. Post, the only thing that I can say is thank you for everything. And it means a great deal not only to me, but to thousands, if not tens of thousands of others.